I'm a survivor.
Yo, it's Varner from Survivor, the Australian outback in Cambodia. Second chance. You don't have to dig. No climbing, no lying to anybody. You have found Survivor's hidden idol on the internet. And you didn't even need a clue, because they ain't got one. It's Survivor Talk with D&D. Dwaine and David. Take it away.
So if you feel me, put your hands in there.
Hello, everybody. This is Dwaine, Survivor Talk with D&D, and I'm here with my best friend, David. Hello, David.
Hello, Dwaine.
And we are two best friends talking about the show we love. And tonight we are gonna get away from the who the heck are these people, which we did last week, and we have a closer look with three of our bloggers. So we've got, let me introduce them from my left to right. We have Alex. Hello, Alex.
Hi.
There you go. That's why he's a blogger and not a podcaster.
He writes longer than he speaks.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Next we have Brian. Spells his name meager, but his name is Mars. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Dwaine, thanks for having me on. Very excited to be on.
There you go. See the advantage of going second. And now, without any further ado, Colton Cumbie. Hello, Colton.
Hi. I could have gone first.
Yes.
It would have been there.
You could have. Yes, you could have. And just for the record, David, so Alex and Brian both write for D&D on our website. They do weekly blogs after each episode. But this season, Colton and David are going to have a battle of, is it a power ranking battle, guys?
Yes.
Yes. So they're going to do that. Now, will you power rank before the episode? Is that how you'll do it?
No, as soon as the episode's over, then we'll pick who we think was going to get booted 60 minutes ago. So that way we get full points. Yes, we're going to do it before the episode airs.
I was so confused. I was like, wait, clearly I don't know what's happening.
You know, David,
in fact,
David, I could go back to our earlier conversation where you asked me that question, but I won't. All right.
Well, my hope is that Colton and I can post our rankings by maybe Friday, which is within 2 days of the episode, for the next episode.
All right. So let's see. Rōng is Brain versus Brawn versus Beauty. So we will tackle each tribe in order. Next week is our That's What You Think episode. So send us your thoughts on the cast, the twist, etc., and we'll talk about it. stwdd.com/feedback. After that, David and I will be joined by Kelly Wentworth and Dan Foley to draft our D&D Survivor Challenge teams. And
Colton Cumbie. Yes, he's joined my side. So
David needs two people to help him.
Why don't you get past?
Dan and I are going to destroy y'all. Me and Dan.
Verbally, yes.
Three.
I could see that.
David, you have me.
Exactly. That's all I needed. That's right. Colton and Kelly.
The point system, if you're wanting to do it, is online on our front page. Just scroll down, you'll see a D&D Survivor Challenge point system or player results or whatever.
And what a perfect time to give a shout out to our other blogger and point tallier, the queen of our point system is Shayna.
That's right. She tallies all the points every week.
Go Shayna.
This year, this season, the fantasy is more like a real fantasy game where if your player does well, you get points. Not if they pick their teeth with a log, you get points. So it's going to be fun.
With a log.
Yeah. If you're watching and chatting live on stwdd.com/live, enjoy yourselves. I'm not watching it, but y'all talk amongst yourselves. All right, let's do this. All right, we have a Brains tribe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all who we're going to talk about. Now I'm going to turn it over to y'all, and then we're just going to have a conversation. If we can keep it at we're not going to have like a stopwatch on it, but if we 5 minutes a person, then we'll be at about an hour and a half. And Colton will only be an hour late to his party. So, all right. So first we have Peter Baggenstoss.
Obama.
What do y'all think? What do you think?
Yeah, elephant in the room. He looks a lot like Barack Obama. I mean,
yeah.
To the point where his meet me video was a lot about just him being like, yeah, I look like him. I don't want to talk about it,
But I look like him.
but I look a lot like him.
By the way, did I mention I look like Barack Obama?
I think he's cuter than Barack Obama.
You think he's cuter than Barack Obama?
For
Is
sure.
that what you said?
But I don't think Barack Obama's cute, so I don't really know how much that says for Peter. But
Okay. One of the favorite things that to me that he said on his videos was like, okay, so I watch YouTube videos on how to build a fire. Let's just win some flint.
well, I'm just confused because his personal claim to fame is that his father's from Switzerland and his mother's from Jamaica, and he's like, I'm a Swiss citizen. So how are you on the American version of Survivor? I don't understand.
Yeah, really.
Apparently he's a lot like Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Oh, shots.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Did we mention he's actually missing the Republican debate right now?
Hey.
So, other than the party, this is more important than that too.
So what do y'all think about him? I kind of think he's a little too confident myself.
I like Peter. I think he's probably in one of the best positions out of everyone on the Brain Tribe on day one. I really liked him in his Meet the Cast video. He just seemed very likable. He had, open body language. He had a good sense of humor. He's strong enough to hold his own in challenges. I could see pretty much everyone on the tribe approaching him for an alliance in the first few days of the game. I think he will be among the least targeted people on the first day.
All right. Anybody else?
I like him. All jokes aside, whether he looks like Obama or not, I do like Peter. He was probably, I would say, my second favorite, third favorite. If I'm ranking the Brains Tribe in order that I like them, he's probably number 3. I think he's I don't know. I like that he's an ER doctor. That means that he works really well under pressure, because you think, any doctor should work well under pressure, but especially one in the ER where you got all kind of crazy stuff going on. So I think he'll be cool, calm, collected. I think he'll handle the elements better than a lot of people, because he should be more adaptive to that. So I like Peter.
I like Peter as well. He seems very approachable and friendly. He's built for Survivor, but I don't picture him as the great strategist of his tribe. So I would picture him as more of a second to somebody else leading, or somebody else with a plan. But I definitely see him fitting in and being well liked. He seems to have a good personality for that. The only thing that bothered me was he's welcome and looking forward to an adventure. And I'm like, no, that's not Survivor. Survivor's going to kill you. If you go into it thinking you're going to have the time of your life. So remember Keith? This is not fun. Of course, he got filmed before Keith made that declaration that Survivor's not fun. But otherwise, he's very approachable and likable, so I give him a good 10 days. After that is where I think we're going to see Peter, whether or not he can make it to the 39 or not. But I do like him. I do like Peter.
Remember, Colton, Survivor is not fun.
Yes. By the way, so apparently I am the odd one out. I think he's too confident. I don't think he has any idea what he's getting himself into. I think he'll talk too much and get voted off early. So
I don't agree with that at all.
Well, obviously, y'all all said something.
I mean, I do. I think he's going to do really well. I don't even agree with David saying he's not going to be that great of a strategist, because maybe not necessarily a strategist, but I think he's going to be loyal to his alliance, and I think that's going to take him pretty far.
Okay, so
I don't think he's deep in Survivor knowledge. I'll put it that way. I didn't get the idea that he knew a lot about people.
But on the opposite side of that, I know everything about Survivor, and I suck. So it's
there you go. But
I'm curious. You said that you think he's going to go out early. Who do you see targeting him for elimination? Who do you think is going to go after him?
No, I'm just saying. The other 5.
Who specifically?
Or maybe 4. I don't know how long. I don't think he's merge at all.
Joseph and Peter are for sure going to align, and I see them aligning with maybe possibly Debbie. I don't know. We'll get to her, but Debbie's a wild card for me. Right. She's done everything under the sun, from work at Target to whatever she does now.
Yeah, chemical something.
Yeah.
Right.
Chemist, I think.
Yeah, she is.
But you mentioned, I know we're trying to keep this short, but you mentioned him talking his way out. ER docs don't talk a lot; they listen. because they're listening to the patient. So he is trained. I like to look at occupations. I base a lot on occupations, but I don't know. I think he could get to the merge. So anyway, if you want to move on.
He just didn't seem very engaging to me. I wouldn't want to hang around him on the island, probably.
Yeah, he and Ty are two completely different people. I'll give you that much. They are like the opposites. But go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, well, for me, it's just like, yeah, Joe's like super ripped, like, but how long is he going to be able to last at that? He's 72 years old. The last time we saw someone that old play, Rudy got hurt, and they ended up having to kind of mercy kill him. So they might need Peter, especially if they lose like one challenge right away, and that's where he can kind of maybe stick around.
So if we keep the 70-year-old Joe, we got to keep Peter so he can keep Joe healthy. I got you.
I got you.
Exactly. Like, you got to win challenges.
Okay, can we talk about Joe? Because I like Joe.
Well, we're going to... Joe.
I like Joe, too.
Let's go talk about Aubrey first, and then we'll talk about Joe. Aubrey first, and then we'll talk about Joe. So, Aubrey, what do y'all think about Aubrey?
I like her.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
But I'm worried that she would be an early exit. I don't think she's going to make the merge. And my reasoning for that is that in her bio and video, she talks about entertaining her tribe mates with her quirky weirdness. But more often than not on Survivor, when a player is being sort of weird and quirky, it tends to irritate the other players. Like we saw that with Shireen in Worlds Apart and with Philip Shepard in Redemption Island. And more than this, the Brain Tribe just seems like a kind of serious group of people who would view quirkiness as being more annoying than endearing. So I just think that Aubrey could end up being an early outsider.
I completely 100% agree with you. I think that this tribe is made up of people who are very, very serious. I could potentially see this is the one tribe that I see there potentially being a 3-3 split. I could easily see Joe, Peter, and Debbie versus Aubrey, Neil, and who's the other chick? Liz, yeah. Elizabeth is going to be the one that's like, I don't know which way she's going to go. But I think Neil and Aubrey will naturally gravitate towards each other because I think they're both weird, but we'll call it quirky.
Yeah. Well, one thing Aubrey said that had me worried was she said that she makes faces sometimes. So, like you're having a conversation with her and her face is going to give away what she's thinking. And I think that could be her downfall. But y'all are right. She's on a tribe of pretty serious people, and she's quirky. So I guess we'll see how that goes.
It's funny because I got the opposite reaction after watching her video. Because when I first saw her with the headband and the smile, I'm thinking Courtney Moon, and then I think it was her name. She went out first and quick, yeah. But then after listening to her, I wrote down.
On an island with.
I wrote down a female fishback at the end of watching her video. I think Quirky could bring a levity to the tribe. I think she's smarter than she lets on. I think she's got social skills. She says she gets along with a wide range of people. I don't know. I don't think she's necessarily going to be targeted for being weak. I don't know. She's somebody that I liked. Seemed approachable for me, and I see what you mean about a serious tribe, but maybe having somebody that's not all the time serious might be somebody you want to keep around.
Well, I like her a lot, so I hope I'm wrong about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her too.
All right, so the elephant in the room is that everybody wants to talk about Joe. So talk about him.
I love Joe. Like, he's probably, next to Elizabeth, my favorite on the Brains tribe. I mean, I just admire anyone who, at that age, would go and do Survivor. And, I mean, look at him. He's, like, amazing. Like, I don't know why he's not on Brawn.
Right.
He's definitely gonna be a future synergetic spokesman.
Yeah.
For sure.
One thing's for sure, at his age, he is not coming to try to return for another season. So he is coming to play. Like,
that's a great point. I like Joseph too, and I think he's in a pretty good position in the early days of the game because the Brain Tribe, it does skew a little bit older, so I don't think he'll have too much trouble fitting in. I think that his problem might be later in the game. Can he connect and work with the rest of the cast, which is largely a lot younger than he is? True. I think that maybe his best bet would be to play the father figure role when some of the younger players start struggling with the elements. I think that could help him stick around for a while. But he doesn't strike me as a particularly aggressive or adaptable strategist. If his alliance fell apart, I don't see him as the person who come up with some brilliant plan to pull them back from the brink.
Honestly, like, this is just my dream alliance on the Brains tribe would be Elizabeth and Joe, just because I loved Elizabeth and Roger so much.
Right.
And
Right.
I would love, 15 years later to have Elizabeth and Joe. I think they would be a precious alliance.
I agree with Alex that I felt the same way about Peter, about if something falters or something dissolves, pulling the pieces back together. But I like Joe, and I like the way Colton broke up the tribe and how it could be split age-wise versus gender-wise. And I think Liz could be that person that jumps to the other side. But I do like Joe. The only thing that bothered me about Joe was he didn't laugh in his video. And I like people that laugh. He got behind those bushes like he was hiding in a spy shack or something, like he was playing, but he never smiled. Like, here, this is a joke. I'm either going to shoot you or I'm taking a poop right here. But otherwise, he never smiled. He just had that straight face the whole time. I'm like, come on, where's the punchline? Where's the laugh? And if he never laughs or cracks wise, at the tribe, that's somebody that brings a little bit too much intensity. I like Joe, but I hope he smiles the first episode.
But look
That
at
was something that I picked up on. That was something that I picked up on in his Meet the Cast video, too. He did look kind of serious. There wasn't a whole lot of warmth and openness in his body language, and it makes me worry about his chances long term. I would guess he falls somewhere around the merge, maybe a few tribal councils before, maybe a few afterwards. I don't think he's going to get really far in the game.
Well, I hope he makes the jury, so I hope he interrogates somebody that makes final tribal council.
Well,
Yeah.
he's a former FBI agent, so what I'm really curious is, for his job description, is CBS going to put the question mark after it like they did with Philip Shepard?
Yeah, I think he's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do too.
you're not gonna mess with that guy. You're not gonna question this guy.
Yeah, I have no trouble believing that he's a former FBI agent.
Yeah,
Right.
one of the things I look for is somebody that adapts to the situation, and I think Joe is definitely one of those mature enough people and smart enough people that can adapt to people when they're talking to him, or when he walks up to somebody, he can adapt to the situation. And that's what I like about Joe. I like his maturity and his experience in life, so I think that's going to play in his favor. I just hope he's got that, whether it's that fatherly figure thing or just that jovial thing that he can keep up and keep people happy.
Right.
To me, what it really boils down to is if he can connect with the younger players or not.
So I think he has, before I let Brian have the last word on Joe, I think he has the advantage of being on a Brains tribe up front, so they're going to have a level of respect for him with his age and everything, whereas if he was on like a beauty tribe or something, they may, he's the old guy, and we're the fun people at the lunch table type of thing. So I think he does have that advantage at the beginning also. Go ahead, Brian. Why don't you give us the last word on Joe?
Oh, I'm just really looking forward to him interacting with Aubrey. There couldn't be more different personalities out there.
Really.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
And I mean, he's super jacked, but he's old, so we've never really seen like a person like this in any of these reality shows. So he'll definitely be interesting one to watch.
Yeah.
I still wish that Joseph was on the Brawn tribe, just because I think it would be interesting to see, someone being cast for their athleticism being, 72, like kind of like how I would want to. Just think it'd be a little interesting to see some of the women on the beauty tribe be over 30.
Well, this is what happened. They had him on the Brawn tribe, but the only other option was to put Darnell on the Brain tribe, and they couldn't do that, so they had to keep him on the Brain tribe.
Right.
Well, I don't understand how does being a postal worker make you Brawn?
I know.
It doesn't have to tie in with their jobs.
It
He
has
just
to
looks like
take
a really fit guy.
I just some of these placements, Alicia is by far the hottest girl in the entire cast. And
I know, and she's on Brawn.
And,
Yeah.
this beauty tribe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of beautiful, Liz is our next person.
beautiful. She's probably the second most beautiful girl
Yeah.
on this season.
She wants
Probably
to
one
be
of the
villain.
smartest.
I like her, man. I like her a lot. She's going to be that little villainous person, Wants
What
to
was her
flirt
job
and-
again?
Oh, I don't
What
know.
was
She's the MIT grad who's a programmer in
Yes.
quantitative programmer, and she counts cards in Vegas,
Yeah, that's cool.
and she had a minor in game strategy when she graduated.
Right.
David, you asked me earlier, you were like, do you have a favorite? And I was
Mhm.
like, not really, I'm going to watch it. I really think she's probably my favorite. I'm a huge fan. She gives me, Kim Spradlin vibes. she's beautiful, she's smart. I think she's pretty strong. Like, she's not gonna like, you know, slow the tribe down. I think she's probably my favorite.
Yeah, she's the one that has done jungle survivor training. So going outside is not the first time.
Yeah, well, she should be high on the draft list.
And I like that she picked out a Game of Thrones character to be like you said, to be a villain, Peter Littlefinger. So I like that.
Yes, that was a good reference.
You all seem to like Elizabeth a lot more than I do. I didn't see that much special in her video or anything. She actually kind of hit on something that irks me when she compared herself to Parvati and talked about flirting in the bio. It always irks me when players seem to think that they can cruise to the end on their looks. It always irritates me. And the Parvati comparison is just such a cliche. And there was just nothing else that really stood out in her video. It's not like she stood out as being a bad player or anything, but nothing about her screamed winner to me.
Well, you know what? The only thing that bothered me in her video was her posture. Oddly enough, she was very stiff the whole time she sat there and talked. She wasn't very animated or anything, so I'm really looking forward to her seeing her on day one, how she is in the group and how she reacts to people. I mean, otherwise, I liked everything else she said and everything else in her bio.
Alex, you're just upset because she wouldn't go out with you if you asked her. That. Just face it. You have something against all beautiful women. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Well, then you should love the beauty tribe.
I can relate, Alex. I was a teenager once. Anyway, yeah. I guess my only question was, will she overthink everything? Will she get really frustrated with the people that won't listen to logical arguments like she said, you know, you're trying to talk to somebody and they're just dismissing you. How will she handle that? So, but otherwise, I like her a lot.
Or heaven forbid she ends up on a tribe, like heaven forbid the Brains tribe. I don't see this happening, but that they just want to like be very kumbaya and let's not. You know, one thing about Peter, I could see him potentially being that guy that's like, let's not talk about it until we have to. Like, let's not talk strategy until, you know, we go to tribal council.
Like Garrett?
Yeah. I was going to say, that worked out well for Garrett. Yeah.
Or Colton's tribe on Blood versus Water.
Yeah.
I don't even think they talked strategy before they went to tribal council. I think Orange had he had sent them like a text message order before we got there of like, this is the order we're voting people out. So I don't think they ever
Were the pregame alliances like really bad that season? Like everyone pregaming alliancing?
The production said we were the worst season they've ever had, and they think it was because like the stakes were so much higher because like we were bringing our loved ones. The only reason Candace got voted out first was because she showed up at the last minute. Like, there's no way in hell. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why would we vote out Candace first? Like, really, of all people?
Well, because she flipped on her tribe twice. In Heroes versus Villains, she flipped on the Heroes, and then she mutinied in Cook Islands.
Well, I love that you looked into that, but no, that is not why. We did it because she showed up 5 minutes before we started.
Colton's like, I was there.
I had absolutely nothing to do with her previous game. Like, literally, people were giving reasons like, I don't know who you are, which I believe. And then they were like, something, oh, okay, this is like so outside of this, but basically, like 30-second synopsis of what happened. Rupert was like, let's vote for Kat. Well, I didn't hear that option because I would have been all on board with that. But Candace thought that like Monica and she knew that like the One Worlders were going to vote together. Or she assumed the One Worlders were going to vote together, and so Candace like was like, no, they won't do that. And so Rupert goes, Laura, and so then she looks at me and she's like, Laura. Well, the only person that I knew like anything of who to look to, I looked to Monica, and she like nodded at Candace, and I like looked over at Tina, and I saw she was writing Candace, and so I was like, sorry, girl. I don't know.
So it was Rupert who was the reason that Laura Moret got those 3 votes at the opening vote?
Yeah. Well, him and Tyson, like, they both were like, Laura, do Laura. And they were telling me to do Laura. And I was just trying to count. And then, like, RS is just like, he's, like, written 3 names and scratched them out. And, like, you know, because he's like, oh, no, like, all my pregame. RS literally called every single person on that cast. Like, I was sitting at LAX leaving casting when this phone number I don't even recognize calls me, and RS is like, Colton, it's RS. And I was like, hello? And he was like, basically, you know, I just wanted to talk to you for a while. And then he like would call me, and like I would talk to Vetus, and he did that to everyone. Literally, when Laura Moret got voted out, she like told Sierra, she was like, don't trust what we thought. And that was supposed to like,
there you go.
Don't trust RS.
There you go. So where were we? before Alex wanted to talk about.
We were at pregame for One World. Blood versus Water.
Yeah, that's my fault. Sorry, guys. I had to bring it up.
I think we were talking about, was it Elizabeth?
Yeah, we're talking about Elizabeth.
We're over her. Next tribe.
Yeah, we were about to move on to Neil. Gottlieb.
Neil.
The ice cream.
What do you think about Neil? I like Neil.
Neil was the one person who made zero impression on me in his video. Just very bland, robotic. He barely even smiled. I just took absolutely nothing away from his video and his bio.
All right.
I think that he is in trouble. Like, I don't see him getting along well with Peter. I don't see him getting along well with Joe. You know, the more I think about it, I feel like Peter, Joe, and Elizabeth are your more three logical players, whereas Neil, and then Aubrey, and then Debbie are your more, like, quirky players.
Right.
So I could see that being the division more than what I originally said, which was age, because I don't see Elizabeth working with Neil and Aubrey. Like, that just, I don't know. I feel like Elizabeth is going to, like, carry a lot of weight in that tribe, though, like, where she decides to go and, like, who she aligns with.
Well, I'm going to disagree on the age division. I think that it's really going to come down to strength simply because these people are going to be remembering what happened to the last Brain tribe that was on a Brain Brawn Beauty season. They don't want to go down as a laughing stock, too. So I think it's going to really boil down to tribe strength, particularly because if you've only got 6 people, you got nowhere to hide. You can't afford to lose that many challenges because you're down to 2 or 3 people in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. True. I don't think Neil's going to be, like, weak in challenge. I don't see Aubrey, to me, is going to be the weakest person on this tribe as far as...
Yeah, because Neil is not weak. Neil said that he, finally started eating ice cream, and after day 25, you'll see his 6-pack again.
Well, he also says that he's, like a physical threat, but, Crystal Cox also promised us that she was an Olympic athlete.
She couldn't run up a hill on day 1.
I mean,
so she didn't even have the "I'm exhausted out here" excuse.
Well, no offense to Luzon, but to me, this tribe looks 10 times stronger.
Thank you. I agree with that.
And the thing about Neil, he could benefit from early wins. And I think I completely agree that he could be the odd one out if something goes bad. I could also see him and Aubrey connecting, but unfortunately that leaves 4 other people that could connect against them. So, but I really think this tribe could do well in the beginning.
Realistically, the last Brains tribe, the reason they lost wasn't because they were, like, physically handicapped to against the other tribes. It was because they were stupid. Like, they weren't actually smart. They couldn't do the puzzles. They couldn't, like,
right.
It was like they would lose on things that the Brain tribe should excel at.
Yeah.
Well, Jatia was dragging them down. If Jatia, that one person, is not in the mixture, it might be a different scenario for them.
Garrett was dragging them down.
Especially with that second challenge where she really biffed the puzzle pretty hard.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. And then you got rid of Garrett. I don't know. So a weird season.
So let's finish off the Brain tribe. Talk about probably one of the more eccentric people this season. I mean, just look at her bathing suit. That is very unique.
I thought you were saying eccentric because she compared herself to Coach in her bio.
Well, she did that as well. Yeah. She is not going to like the beauty tribe people at all. That is totally opposite for her because she's, she doesn't like the Kardashians and fashion accessories and just don't, all that kind of stuff. She doesn't like all that kind of stuff.
We can see that she has no idea about fashion.
Well,
that excellent swimsuit.
All right. So, do we have anything to say about?
I think the only thing that's going to stick out negatively for Deb is if she doesn't feel everybody else is playing up to her level. I feel like she's got a standard that she lives by and that she goes by, and I think she's strong. I think she will work well with others unless she feels like they're being lazy. She's the one on the tribe, to me, that's going to point out people that are lazy and not pulling their weight.
Right.
And that's the only thing that stands out. But like I said, if they win challenges, the attitude could be completely different. Hey, let's all take a nap.
Right.
So it really could come down the first couple of episodes. But I think she's in a good position age-wise. She's kind of in the middle of the group, so to speak. So it depends on the success of this tribe, I think, early on.
I'll make a brave prediction. I think Debbie is the first person off the nerd tribe.
I think she would annoy the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I think that with the small 6-person tribes, they're going to be really focused on challenge strength, and I think that means that she could fall due to the older woman label. It's just going to be too easy to look at her and say she's not going to help us win challenges. And like I said before, these people don't want a repeat of what Luzon went through.
Right.
The only thing is she's really hyped, and I know this is kind of like looking beyond like logic and just like, like who they're showing, but they're showing her a lot. And for her, I'm not saying she doesn't go early, but first I feel like is a stretch because I don't think they would hype someone so much if she goes first. That's just not typically something that they would do.
Yeah.
John Rocker and Jatia were in a lot of the preseason ads before Kaôh and San Juan del Sur. They were third out of the game, which is close enough to first to be basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But I guess if Debbie can get past the early stages of the game, she wouldn't be targeted as a threat. But hearing that she compared herself to Coach in her bio, it makes me think she might be more focused on her image than her gameplay. Just because Coach is, known more for his image than his gameplay too.
I would say the first person out of the Brains tribe is either going to be Aubrey or Neil. That's just my.
Yeah, I definitely know Aubrey is maybe the most in danger on that tribe.
I'm thinking Aubrey or Debbie. I think we're going to see a majority alliance of Neil, Elizabeth, Joseph, and Peter, with Peter and Joseph as the strategic decision maker core of the alliance.
I will say this too. I don't like going back to Debbie not really liking the whole like Kardashian whatever thing, and then Elizabeth comparing herself to Parvati. It makes me think there could be like some conflict of interest there. Like they might not necessarily get along either, especially if Elizabeth like got this whole like I'm going to use my looks, and I mean I don't know who she's going to use them on the Brains tribe, but like, one of them needs
no one to flirt with,
and one's married, and like
Right.
But, I could see Debbie like not liking her.
Right. Okay, speaking of looks, since Colton really likes the beauty tribe, and Colton's got to leave pretty soon, why don't we scoot on over to the beauty tribe? And Colton, why don't you go ahead and give us your spiel and your thoughts on the overall tribe, and then if you still need to leave, you can leave, and we'll take them one by one after that. But what are you thinking on the beauty tribe?
I just I'm really not, I'm not being mean. Clearly beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
But I just I don't understand, what their credentials are to be considered beautiful in Survivor, because, they've cast really beautiful people. I sent them Morgan McLeod. Yes, she is beautiful. I would even say, Jeffra, she's okay. But it's you cast people like Sydney Wheeler. You've had Amber Burkett. You've had, Krista Klump. You've had these, Ashley Underwood. You've had literal beauty queens. And, this season, you give me, a chubby Hayden Panettiere and, some washed-up girl from Jersey Shore and some little Asian gardener man, he's like a gnome. I just don't understand.
He doesn't do it for you, Colton?
No, and I don't like that there's another Caleb at all. It's just no. I mean, I know you can't have your name, but I don't want there to be another Caleb on Survivor.
I wouldn't expect that guy to be around too long, so don't worry too much about him.
I don't expect the beauty tribe to be around too long. I think they are early outs.
I mean, I just don't understand. They're not beautiful.
I hear you. I think it's kind of ironic that for the first time in a while we've got an all-new player season without a single beauty pageant queen on it.
Hey, I was so thankful to not to see.
Survivor frustrates me to no end because, literally, it's if you look for them to, not cast a beauty queen, it's going to be either on a season I'm on or a season where they have a tribe of, quote, beautiful people.
Right. Because look at Brawn. Jennifer easily on the beauty tribe. Alicia easily on the beauty tribe.
Alicia is gorgeous. She's literally her and Elizabeth are the two most beautiful people.
Right, and then you've got Elizabeth.
Kyle the bounty hunter could be on the beauty tribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Just what I was thinking.
Over the gardener, he sure could.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to seeing Jeff Probst' cast assessment video and hearing him talk about why some of these people qualified for the beauty tribe, what his rationale is.
Oh, he
literally, in the Meet the Cast, he goes, and then you look at the beauty tribe, and yeah, they're hot. And I'm like, because it's 150 degrees.
Oh, dude, you can't say that.
Sorry. But like, that's why they're hot. Like, it's not because like
It's not.
I'm just glad Colton was the first one to swear and it wasn't me.
Sorry.
All right. Anyway, so did you have anything about the beauty tribe besides how they're not beautiful?
None of them are my favorites.
Right. Who's your least favorite? I mean, come on.
No, it's really not.
Who's the first boot off that tribe?
I don't know about that.
I hope it's Caleb, just because.
I think I've got a fair idea.
Will not be quiet. I watched his Big Brother, part of his Big Brother season. That guy is not going to be quiet.
He calls him
that dude's crazy, man.
Cowboy or something. Like,
yeah, beast mode cowboy.
Beast mode cowboy, yeah.
I think Caleb is safe in the early stages of the game just because Beauty's going to need all the strength it can get going up against the Brawn tribe. I think Caleb is your prototypical merge boot. You know, he's helps out around camps, strong in challenges, but he doesn't possess the strategic savvy to, you know, survive the open season on alpha males after the merge.
And the girls are going to want him out because they're going to be tired of him hitting on them.
Oh my God!
I haven't watched Big Brother, so I can't weigh on his Big Brother game. But from what I've read other people write about him on Big Brother, it seems like he was pretty clueless strategically. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he was led by a
like
Boston Rob Kimball type character. And
so since you guys are all smarter than me, what was the season where the little bush guy came out and showed them how to work the camp, and they loved the little guy who juggled? Was it Caramoan? This is what I see in this tribe. I think the three women are going to get along better than the three men because there's a couple alphas, and I think the three women are going to pick up Ty. And then they're going to vote out either Nick or Caleb if this tribe loses.
I like
Chia
Ty. Pet.
I love Ty's video. He's somebody that I could sit down and just talk to and laugh at. He seems like a very approachable, nice person. And I got that more than I got from Nick and I didn't really get that from Nick or Caleb's video. That was more about them and who they are. Whereas Ty's like, I'm just happy to be here and having fun, and this is my homeland. And I think the three women could pick up him and vote out the other two. Not worried about that.
I hope so.
I see pretty different dynamics for this tribe. I think that Ty is going to be the first person off the team because, you know, fair or unfair, conformity plays a big role. And if you look at the tribe and say, who's the one person that doesn't fit in, you're going to say Ty first. He's 21 years older than the next oldest Beauty member, and age has always been the biggest dividing factor in the game. It's going to be too easy for those to say he's not going to help us win challenges. He's likable. He's got a great energy and charm that the show would benefit from, but I think he's leaving early.
Well, I disagree.
Really? I do too.
I disagree.
You think likability is less than annoyability? Because I think there's somebody on this tribe that's going to annoy people.
Yeah, I think Caleb and Nick are going to be.
Nick?
I think Nick and Caleb are out early.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think the girls are all three going to bond together.
I agree.
Definitely think the girls,
and then Ty's going to be the little. Ty's going to be their little ferret or their little chia pet that they keep around with them. And
because he cooks, he'll get to keep the fire going.
Yeah.
He'll keep the area nice and shelter built. And then you got the other guy. I'm telling you, I think Nick is going to explain he's a life. He's not going to explain he's a life coach, but just his whole video is like, are you kidding me?
Because honestly, and I'm not being rude, but literally, like, these girls. Okay, the last season, like, Kaôh, like, yeah, like, you had, like, Morgan, who was, like, clearly, like, the superior hot girl on her tribe. And usually when you put a bunch of, like, hot girls together, they, like, they're combative and competitive with each other. Well, these girls are all pretty, like, you know, solid sevens. So I feel like they're all going to bond over that. Like, it's like no one's, like, really hotter than anyone else. Like, let's just all be sorority sisters. And
they're all young.
All three of the beauty girls cited Parvati in their bio. That makes me think they're all looking to play the flirt game. And doesn't that mean that they're more likely to approach the young guys on the tribe for alliances?
Not if they're annoying as hell.
Once they meet Caleb and once they meet Nick, they're going to see right through Nick. Nick is the most misogynistic, all-about-me guy I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, I love Matt Quinlan more than anything, and he thinks he is a ladies' man, but the girls hated him on our season. Like...
The three girls are going to go up to Nick and say, "Can you step over so we can see that little Thai guy behind you? We want you to come because he can't be but this big. He's the smallest little guy."
You also have to think about this. One thing that the girls are going to be thinking is, if we vote out all these guys, like, who the hell is going to take care of us? Because we can't do it. And so Ty is like the perfect person to
Right.
keep around because like he will cook, he'll keep their shelter. Like
Exactly.
I mean, they can get rid of. The only thing is, I hope the girls do realize like if they do eliminate Caleb and Nick, like they're gonna get destroyed in challenges.
Right.
The
Like,
problem
absolutely demolished.
I think the problem with the three girls picking up Tay, there's no clear leader in that group. I see Nick as being the default leader on the beauty tribe because he's the second oldest after Tay. At 30 years old, I think he's got the right. He's young enough to bond with the younger tribe members, but he's old enough to have some life experience under his belt, and he's athletic enough to be seen as helpful in challenges. I liked Nick by his bio and video. A lot of people on the internet are saying that he's arrogant and unpleasant, but I thought he was just trying a little too hard to be funny. I didn't see a ton of arrogance there.
I see them taking a poll, and Nick says, "There's no reason to take a poll. I'm the leader of the tribe." And they say, "Why?"
Yeah.
He says, "Look at me. I'm Nick."
Yeah. I'm better than you. I'm
know-
better than you. I know that.
Yeah.
Now,
He's
if you
just so
listen,
annoying.
I listen, I know. If I have to pick somebody off this tribe that I actually like Julia because I think she's going to be underestimated. When people find out how old she is, she's very
like
articulate.
Natalie
She's just
Pinarelli.
yes.
Yeah,
I
have
think
to
she's
say-
going to be underestimated, and I like her.
Julia is one of the players who I am least enthusiastic for this season. I have zero. I have
That's why our
zero.
blog pages are going to be so good. You're going to have the full spectrum of like and dislike.
I have zero faith that Julia is going to play this game as anything other than a pawn.
Yeah, I mean, she's so young.
Yes,
so young.
18 years old. I'm older than her.
She has no idea what she's getting into. Yeah.
I mean, she
Purple
compares
Kelly
herself
was
to
older
Natalie
than her.
Tenorelli in her bio. If I was in charge of casting and an applicant compared themselves to Natalie Tenorelli, I would say, you're not on the show. I mean, it's just Natalie Tenorelli added nothing to Redemption Island from a gameplay or entertainment perspective. It just puzzles me why anyone would compare themselves to her.
But another reason I think the women will bond on the Beauty Tribe, all three are super fans.
Yes.
Well, they say they're super fans, but the poverty comparison might
Come
indicate
on,
that-
Alex. Oh
It's
my
the red flag for
You just don't like
Man.
pretty girls. It's okay. You just don't like pretty girls. We understand. It's
You
okay.
got to get past the poverty thing, Alex.
It's a red flag that someone's a recruit, watched Micronesia on DVD, figured out the game, and thought, that looks easy enough, I can flirt to victory. It's just very standard among recruits. The poverty thing, it's a red flag for a recruit. But even if that's not it, I think it's just funny that in her bio and video, the strategies she talked about using are flirting and being underestimated. Those are two strategies that don't really require much game knowledge or survivor skill. I just don't see her as being a factor this season.
Okay.
If somebody picks Boston Rob as their person, are they a recruit?
Yeah.
No, but it's just the poverty thing is quite a trend. But
Because she was attractive and she won, and they're young and attractive and they want to win. So
They're
All right,
probably.
hold on. I want to hear Colton speak.
Oh, I said if someone picks me as their person, they're probably a recruit.
There you go.
let me write that down.
I just can't get past.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the Brawn tribe, and then I have to go.
Okay, all right. And then we'll go back to
Wait,
it.
I got one more thing to say about Julia.
Oh my God.
If Julia,
We're going to go back to Julia.
We're going to go back to the brains. We're going to go back to the
Julia.
brains.
Alex, we're going to go back to her.
Okay.
So simmer it, and we'll get back to it.
So this is just the
All right.
Colton segment. Let Colton go.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Colton's about to leave.
Brawn. Actually, honestly, this is probably my favorite tribe of all of them. I'm trying to find their picture. God, I should have done this before. But if I can get through all the brains. But yeah, I really like the Brawn tribe. There's a lot of people on there that stood out to me that I really liked. Did you say that Joe was on the Brawn tribe and they moved him? Is that
He
what
was
someone said?
joking.
No, I was kidding.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of joking. Forget it. Yeah, I was kidding.
Yeah. Beauty tribe, Tay is probably the guy that I like the most.
Brawn, though. Tell us
I know,
about Brawn.
I'm trying to get to the picture so I can talk about them. I've got to get through all these irrelevant beauties first. And I use
Wow.
that term loosely.
We could have let Alex talk about
Okay,
Julia.
here we go. Brawn. Okay,
All right, go for it.
obviously, my clear favorite is Alicia because she should be on the beauty tribe. She is easily the most beautiful woman in the game. Love her.
Mhm.
I'm also a big fan. I actually do like the bounty hunter. I think he's going to be fun to watch. The basketball player, whatever. Postal worker, I don't know what makes him think he belongs on this tribe, but okay. The actually athletic Crystal Cox, I'm a fan. I like her. I feel like we haven't had anyone as fit as her since Alicia Calloway, and I love Alicia Calloway. So I'm excited to see what she can do. The only thing I am worried about her is since Alicia Calloway, like the people that have been super, super fit also have the hardest time adapting out there. The bodybuilders don't typically do well. And then the last chick, Jen, I think, I like her. I think that she'll do well. Honestly, of the Brawn, I would say the first one out is probably like Mr. Post Office.
I'm thinking that the first Brawn out is probably going to be Kyle, just because in his bio he talks about wanting to play a Russell Hantz game, and that's almost guaranteed to blow up in a person's face.
Is Kyle the bounty hunter?
Yeah, he's the bounty hunter. He's the one who said he wants to make stuff disappear quicker than Russell made stuff disappear, and that he said that Russell played the way it was supposed to be played, and that he's going to win because he can lie really well. All of that points towards overplaying and burning out really fast.
Well, that must be why they put someone that looks just like Natalie White on his tribe.
There you go.
Could be.
Kyle Jason's one of my favorites.
So should we call this season
my favorite.
2.0?
I have to go, guys.
See you later, Colton.
Bye.
Later,
All right, bye.
See you in a couple of weeks. All right, let's go back to the beauty tribe. Alex, you get to talk about Julia one more time.
All right.
And then we're cutting you off.
I am so confident that Julia is going to be the season's coattail pond goat that if she emerges as anything resembling as a factor, I will eat this rock. It's not going to happen.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he brought props. Oh,
He brought a rock.
A regular carrot top.
There you go. He doesn't have red hair. Alex, what color is your hair? It's brown, isn't it?
Brownish blonde.
There you
I
go.
was saying, I don't know any other prop comedians.
Oh, okay, all right.
Gallagher.
Gallagher, that's like 1980s.
Those are the only two
There you
I
go.
know of. I like Julia. I mean, definitely the Massachusetts bias comes into play. I just blindly root for everyone from Massachusetts, but I think if she is a super fan, she's not going to fall into the coattail riding thing. I think it's just hard for someone that young to come out onto Survivor with like that little life experience.
Right.
The age thing is really what makes me so, dismissive of her chances. She's 18 years old. There's just not enough life experience there. Age brings with it, patience, wisdom, social
This is the girl that's traveled abroad. This is the girl that's traveled abroad and taught in other countries. This is the girl that's done all these things. I think what's good about her is that she could be a beauty queen, but she is not a beauty queen. She's smarter from the way she is. She feels that her age is going to be an advantage. But she said she's always learning and watching. I think she could quietly move through the game.
I'm with Brian. Sorry.
When I think of myself as an 18-year-old, granted I'm a guy.
Hold on. Let's let Brian talk. Go for it.
No, I was just saying, when I think of myself as an 18-year-old, granted I'm a guy, I was just so dumb. I'm not that smart now, but I was so much dumber then. I couldn't have played Survivor. So I can't... What?
But you thought you knew it all, right?
Oh, my God, exactly.
But you thought you had all this life experience, and you thought you were ready for everything, but you weren't. And that's what I think is going to happen to poor Julia. She thinks she's got it. She thinks she knows it. And it's by no fault of her own. She's just only 19 years old. So, now she's 19.
Now she's 19, yeah, because it's been so long.
No. The bio said 19. Her video said 18.
I don't think casting would put a naive, sacrificial lamb 18-year-old out there to play Survivor.
Well, you're wrong.
They've never done that in the past.
You're wrong, David.
I could rattle
so I don't get to finish my opinion.
sacrificial lambs off the top of my head.
Okay.
No, David, you don't. No, go ahead, David. Please.
No, I've been told that I'm wrong. So
you are wrong, but go ahead and talk.
I like Julia more than you guys, so y'all
Yes, you
just
do.
go. So
I mean, I'm rooting for you, Julia, but I don't have any confidence in you.
You know why Julia's going to last a little bit longer? Because Granddaddy Ty is going to take care of her. That's why.
She could go deep, but I think.
no! You brought out the rock. No! You don't get to say that.
No.
I said if she emerges as a factor, I'll eat the rock. She could go deep as a pawn, and I won't have to eat the rock.
Right.
I ate a real rock. It's not a pebble like that. But anyway, she could go deep as a pawn, but when someone is so outmatched as a player and so useless, why bother bringing her that far? Is there ever been a single 18 or 19-year-old, it's around her age, who has actually played Survivor on a level where they could win?
I don't know, but she's not useless. Come on, be nice.
I don't understand.
Useless as a Survivor player. I'm sure she's a perfectly nice person in real life, but I just don't see her bringing anything to this game.
Ageism. Man, I didn't know he was such an ageist. After a short video and a one-page bio, he's written her off.
Yeah, you're such an ageist.
As a teenage 18-year-old.
There's one player there's finally one player who's younger than me. Darn
we
it.
need equal rights for younger people.
Hey, Alex, get used to it. Half the cast is younger than me every year, so get used to it.
We need to have scholarships just for people that are her age.
Well, I'd also say when I played in Durham, I was the youngest in my cast, and I do feel like by a lot, and I do feel like it did adversely affect me, and where people didn't take me as seriously.
Right.
And I was like trying to go out there and like make alliances, and especially the tribe I was on, no one was like under 30, and I was like, "Yeah, guys, let's do this." And they're like, "All right, Brian, we'll do that. You just go
ahead,
make a
Brian.
fire.
Play with your Legos, Brian. Go play
exactly.
with your Legos. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're done with Julia. Can we be done with Julia?
Yes.
I would. Yes. I'm done.
Okay. I have another thing to say about Nick. Because Nick really struck me as the kind of man that looks down on everybody else.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's like over 6 feet tall. He's gonna.
This is a quote. This is a quote from him. I'll do exactly what I want to do. I should have my way because I'm terribly manipulative.
There was some noticeable ego in his bio and video, but the vibe I got was that he was, trying to play up a character preseason, or maybe that he was just trying to be a little too hard to be funny. But he doesn't strike me as, a really infuriatingly smug, arrogant person.
Well, we'll see.
Really? How old are you?
Only 11 years younger than him.
Sorry.
Did anybody read his stuff when he was writing for Rob? I didn't.
Whoa, this guy used to write for Rob?
Yeah, he used to do a Survivor blog. It was during Kaôh.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll help him or...
The funny thing is, on the one hand, I think it's cool if you're casting...
Thanks, Brian, for pointing out how little we know about these people.
Well, the funny thing...
Sorry, how would I know he wrote? I mean, I don't read blogs.
Well, I read his blogs in Kaôh, and he had some really good insights. But the funny thing is, I'm both glad he's cast and kind of a little bit irritated. On the one hand, I'm glad he's cast because he's a legitimate fan of the show, and it's cool if if CBS is going to be casting from the Survivor Internet superfan group. On the other hand, if they're going to cast a Survivor blogger, why not put Andy Baker on? I mean,
yeah, really.
If you're going to put a blogger on, it should be Andy Baker.
I absolutely agree with you.
It's kind of a spit in the face.
I think we should get Andy.
Just got to get Andy to do some more crunches.
Yeah.
Do some crunches, get a six-pack, he's good to go.
We should not tell Andy Baker that there's a blogger on the season just because it'll probably make it even more frustrating to him that he hasn't gotten on yet.
Yeah.
Like they're casting every blogger except him.
That's right.
I think Nick is the person that's going to tell so many falsehoods and mistruths that they're going to realize that they can't trust anything that he says. And he's going to get to a point where he's going to be the alpha male that feels like he should be leading and they should do what he says. And I think he could be the first boot. I think these three girls are close enough in age that they'll align and they'll pull in Ty or Caleb and he'll be the first one gone.
I think Caleb is going to latch on to Nick like a baby elephant latches on to mama, right? Because Caleb is going to be so attracted to Nick's
alpha.
Yeah, alphaness.
Yeah.
Is that what he's like on Big Brother?
And his cockiness that Caleb's going to want to be with Nick because he's going to think Nick is really cool, and those two guys are just not going to do well together.
That's certainly possible, but. Survivor bloggers, podcasters, we're all brotherhood. We got to pull for him.
No, I'm pulling for him.
No, I don't have to.
I think it'll be funny.
Yeah, I guess I guess the reason I see him as sort of falling into a leadership role is I just don't see who else is going to lead this tribe.
Are you talking about Nick again?
Yes, Nick. I don't see who else is going to lead this tribe. I think that if Nick can just tone down the ego, he's got a good chance of being in a good position.
But he's not going to tone down the ego, Alex.
I think this is going to be the Luzon tribe of this season.
Yeah, really? Exactly.
Yeah, and they're just going to vote off muscle. They're going to vote off who annoys them, and whoever makes the right move to stay together at the beginning will just get rid of the people they don't want to be around anymore.
I'm telling you what.
They're smart. They should keep around Caleb just because he'll be the perfect shield at the merge. Everyone will go after Caleb at the merge.
You don't understand. These three girls are going to count the days till Nick and Caleb are away from them.
If they lose two challenges, who's the person bringing them food? Oh, that's Ty.
Yes, Ty's the provider.
Yeah,
but CBS gives them so many supplies and this big bag of rice at the start that value is sort of diminished. It used to be a lot harder in the old days.
Not if they don't cook. If they don't cook, and Ty does.
Ty cooks, he climbs trees, he fishes, and he doesn't make passes at them.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but Julia and Anna both put a big emphasis on playing the flirt game in their bios and videos, and Michelle also compared herself to Parvati. That's why I see them working with the younger guys.
I know that, but they haven't met Caleb and Nick, or they would take back those statements.
I just think that...
They're going to flirt with guys. They're just not going to flirt.
I think these three girls are going to read these guys like books. They're going to know exactly who they are and what they're like. It's going to be too obvious.
Yeah,
and
they're going to flirt with them long enough to vote them off.
They're going to flirt with Ty, get him on their side, and then they're going to go find somebody else to flirt with or at the shuffle.
All right. Okay. Speaking of the girls, my favorite girl is Anna. My favorite girl on the Beauty Tribe is Anna. I don't remember why, but I liked her. Let's see. She's a huge Survivor fan. She's not lazy. She knows how to fish. She is used to eating small portions, she said. I also like, she said, I will play whatever card I need to play. I can play the flirt card, but if that's not what's needed, I won't play that card. I'll play a different card. So she's willing to change up her game. And I think she's gonna, and she's a pro poker player. And even though normally this is David, David likes policemen because I don't know if you know this, but he studied criminal justice. But David likes policemen and David likes poker players. And so I'm actually getting into the David thing here, and I like her. One of the reasons is because she's a poker player.
Well, besides saying that she is going to flirt and comparing herself to Parvati, I did chuckle a little at the fact that when she had to list the 3 items she'd want to bring on the show, she listed a razor as one of them, so she's taking her classification as a beauty to heart.
There you go.
Well, that's part of the flirt card. You got to have the legs shaved to flirt. So.
But remember, she said, "I'll play the flirt card, but if there's a better card to play, I'll play a different card."
Right.
I just never thought that flirting is that great of a strategy. I mean, it led to a win in 1 season out of 31 seasons.
Okay,
it's not that great a strategy.
This is what happened, Alex. The producer said, "Will you play the flirt card?" And she said, "Yeah, I'll play the flirt card." And then they put that on the film. It's not like she volunteered it. You know what I'm saying?
But the one player she says she's like is Parvati, who's known as the best flirt in Survivor history, so she seems to be buying into it.
All right, tell us 3 people that you're like. Well, Kim Spradlin, Denise Stapley, and Parvati. All right, tell us why you're like Parvati. And there's your statement right there.
There you go.
Well, that's a good point. I think Corinne did mention once that when she said who the player she's most like is, she said someone, and CBS said, no, you have to say Parvati. Yeah, I think Corinne mentioned that once.
Because everybody knows who Parvati is.
Said no, Parvati.
So they're trying to appeal to the casual fans?
Right. Nobody knows who Vesepi is anymore, so they got to go with Parvati.
They knew, Alex, that if they got at least 6 people to say Parvati, that you would go berserk. And so they got at least
There's
6
this blogger on D&D, and he hates when they say
people to say that.
It's just such a cliche. Show some originality. Like, why are none of the women on the season comparing themselves to Natalie Anderson? She played a great game and was a great winner, and no one cited Natalie Anderson as the player they're most like. Am I the only one who's a little surprised by that?
No, well, I honestly think it's because CBS wants them to say Parvati. So even if they say Natalie, they'll get them to say Parvati, and then that's what they'll use. That's honestly what I think. I really, truly believe that.
But I'm still surprised that nobody said Natalie, just because a lot of these women are talking about being aggressive, strategic players, and Natalie Anderson was a very aggressive, strategic player, very likable, and she won. So I'm just a little surprised that no one compared themselves to her.
But I'm
and she was
saying
recent, so they should remember her.
But I'm saying they might have, and CBS said we don't want you to say her, and got
People
her.
don't talk about that season.
Yeah, don't talk about that one.
Let's talk about Parvati, the one that worked for us.
It's the same way with I want to wear my purple bathing suit, and they go, no, you have to wear your pink one. It's that kind of thing. They're very manipulative.
Except for Debbie, because when she brought that out, they were like, yes, wear that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but CBS does choose what clothes each player wears. Cochran said that he'd never once worn a sweater vest until CBS made him to, and now made him do it, and now he's known as the sweater vest guy.
Exactly. He may have even said Natalie.
Even though he played Survivor before.
I don't care. That's just my point. Does anybody have anything else to say about Anna?
I like poker players. I think
I like Anna.
People
Last
who play
poker
those
player-
fancy games are better.
Last poker player on Survivor was Garrett, though, and he didn't fare too well.
Yeah, but he had the added problem of being like 100% muscle and just like dying.
He's
starving to death out there.
Modeling underwear out there.
Yeah, his confessional really did look like it was a photo shoot.
Yes.
But
all right.
Anna,
The Garrett thing was every time he laid down to have his confessional, he'd say, "Is this okay?" They're like, "Garrett, we've already started rolling." All right, ready? Action. What about like this? Garrett, we've already started filming. Just start talking.
Yeah, the funny thing about Garrett is, like, we all saw how he was really struggling with the hunger and the lack of food. Can you imagine how much worse off he would have been 3 days later when they have no rice because Jatia dumped it out? It would have gotten so much worse for him if he had stayed. Because Jatia dumped the rice. I wonder if that might have been part of the reason why the tribe was willing to cut him loose. They just think he's bad now. Just think, with no rice, he's going to get even worse.
I like to think it's just Cass being like, this is going to be funny.
Yeah.
There you go, Brian.
Yeah.
All right. What do we think about Michelle?
Michelle.
She's the Jersey girl.
This is another category that I like. I like bartenders because they talk to all sorts of people and deal with all sorts of people. The funny thing is, she's had a whole life, and she's only 24. So I wonder how long she's been a bartender to qualify as a bartender.
It's pretty easy to become a bartender.
And I don't mean to insinuate that she was jobless a short while ago, but I asked Kelly the other day, Wentworth, I said, if they get somebody that's not employed, do they give them choose A, B, and C, actor, student, or bartender? Are those the three choices that they choose if they're unemployed, or where do they go from there? So.
And what did Kelly say?
She laughed because she got it was a joke, which you guys did not get, so that's no point.
No, I thought you had some real intel. I'm sorry.
Well, nobody comes in unemployed. We
were all on the edge of our seat because you had this connection with Kelly, and we don't have it, and we just wanted to know all about your knowledge.
Well, I'm not going to tell you the answer. So anyway, no, that's not.
Okay, one thing about Michelle is one of her pet peeves is self-important people. So who is she going to hate?
It should go very well.
And Caleb.
Well, it all depends on whether those two can keep that side of themselves locked down on the island. Sometimes people can surprise you when the game starts. Like, remember before Kaôh how arrogant Spencer looked in his pregame videos, but then he was fine when the game started?
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he was playing up a character.
Yeah, that's what I think Nick is doing. I think Nick is playing up a character like Spencer did.
All right. Well, then poor Nick is going to have Caleb hanging onto his butt tail, and he's not going to be able to get Caleb off. And it's going to be the Nick and Caleb show, and they're going to hate it.
Well, then maybe Nick builds up Caleb as like an annoying punching bag everyone hates, like Rob built up Philip Shepard that way as a sort of a mascot for the whole tribe to make fun of and unite in how much they disliked him. Maybe Nick does the same thing with Caleb.
Maybe so.
So the thing with Caleb go ahead,
Brian.
Please, Brian, talk.
So I'm a pretty big Big Brother fan, and the thing with Caleb is, like, none of the negative things about him came back to bite him in the game. He made it to, like, the final 5 or 4, and it was just because, like, he was a complete pawn to his alliance. So he didn't have, like, this experience where he was like, wow, I really need to change my actions because my actions cost me the game. So he's going to come in here with all these negative things that he thinks are positive because he went so far into Big Brother.
Did he keep ducking through dangerous parts of the game through like blind luck?
Well, he had the guy who's running the game, the guy who's a lot like Kim in One World or Rob in Redemption Island, just kind of like, oh, we need Caleb. He's loyal to me, so
right.
Like Caleb probably had no idea how close he was to potentially being voted off had Derek not been in the house with him.
How old was Caleb when he was on Big Brother?
It was 2 years ago.
It wasn't last summer, but the summer before.
Right. So he was, what, 22 or something like that?
25, I think. 24, 25.
26. 26. All right, so here's the thing about Caleb. This was the funniest part of Big Brother when he was on it. He fell in love with this girl, and she had nothing but friendship for him, and he would not get it. It was like, you and I could be so good together. Let's have a date. So they went and had a date out on the lawn, and she just like totally was silent the whole date. It was just one of the most, and he still thought she liked him.
That is really funny, and the best part is he's on the beauty tribe with these, young, pretty women who, like most of whom have talked about flirting. It's probably going to be even worse on Survivor, like an amped-up version of that, because they'll be flirting with him for their strategy, like they said in their videos.
Caleb wants to be the center of attention. Caleb will love the attention, so he will be the one that's flexing, and he'll be the one that's making all the jokes and stuff like that. And I don't know how it's going to do.
See, my hope is I don't watch Big Brother. I boycott it like Alex hates Parvati fans. But I was hoping, until you guys revealed all that he would be the one to see how Nick really was, because I could also see him and Nick immediately get together, that he would see how he was and back off, but maybe that won't happen. But my thing I wrote down about Caleb is he's so ripped that he falls into Garrett mode and starts having problems. So that's because we were hearing about so many medical problems, so many issues, and I was talking to Colton earlier about my worry is that some of these muscular people are like him or Sydney are going to have issues. I mean, he's ripped. He's pretty well built. So he's not coming in like Neil. Neil's coming in with extra 30 pounds of ice cream, so he's going to try and lose it as he goes. But listening to all you guys talk about Caleb, you guys apparently know him a lot better than I do. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't think this is going to be the strongest tribe anyway.
I don't know Caleb at all.
You talk about how Caleb has to be like the center of attention, like the one flexing. I think that's why you shouldn't vote him out. Take him to the merge. He'll take all the bullets for you. He'll be like the biggest shield ever at the merge, just like. It's like last season, how Jeremy kept the other alpha males around so they would shield him. People like Joe and Andrew. Just do the same thing with Caleb. He will take all the bullets for you.
I think with Caleb's experience playing Big Brother, whether he was a pawn or not, he will see if there's a division where the three girls are together and then there's Nick and there's Ty. He will go to the girls. I think if that's the situation that comes up. More than Nick would. Nick would just presume that everybody's listening to him. And they vote out somebody. I think Caleb would see the difference. Since he's played this reality game before in a different fashion, I would think that he'd see that. I could be wrong. So, I don't know.
Well, he's not a particularly astute player.
No?
Caleb might well go in overestimating his abilities, thinking, I already played a reality TV show. This is just round 2. He might think he's the next Hayden Moss from, Blood versus Water. I think that when he's got some ego, he's always trying to get attention. He's going to overestimate his abilities from Big Brother. All of this points to an epic blindside to me.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we talk about Brawn?
What about Ty?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, wait, Ty.
I thought we talked a lot about Ty, just never directly.
Oh, okay.
Ty's awesome.
I like Ty.
I love Ty.
I would rather hang out with Ty over pretty much anyone else in this cast. He just seems like such a likable person, but I just can't see him fitting in with this group.
Oh, I do.
I see the girls pull him over. Go ahead, Dwayne.
I understand your point about the odd person, but he kind of goes beyond that to he's not the odd person. He's the unique and cool. Let's have him around. He's fun to have around person.
Yeah, but maybe if it wasn't for these small 6-person tribes, that would work. But they're going up against some real powerhouses on the Brawn tribe, and they're going to need to keep the team strong. It's easy to look at him and say he's the smallest person out here. And when you're on a small 6-person tribe, you can't afford to lose too many challenges. I mean, look at Matt Singh and Luzon.
You can't. You're right about that, but at the same time, you also can't afford to lose your alliance. If you go into a mixed tribe alone, you could be picked up, and that could work for you. But at least take a chance on keeping 2 friends going into the next level. I mean, if I got to keep Nick and Caleb versus keeping Julia or Michelle, I'd rather keep Julia and Michelle and have my friends who may get on my next tribe with me versus getting stuck with Nick, if I don't get along with Nick, he's not going to like me on our next tribe either. And I got to go find somebody else. So I'm thinking more. I understand what you're saying about staying strong for the early challenges, but these tribes probably aren't going to last more than 2 episodes. I would think by the 3rd episode they might be mixed in. I'd rather take a chance on going with somebody I'm in an alliance with at that point and joining another group.
Well, I don't think that I think that generally 3-tribe seasons are more about managing smaller sub-alliances than big 6-person majority alliances. That's just it seems to be a pattern with the 3-tribe seasons. So I don't think that having everyone be loyal is such a huge priority, because when the teams are reshuffled, you got 12 other people from both the other tribes that are an option for new alliances, and with them being completely reshuffled, like everyone drawing new buffs, I just think that people are going to be too scared to lose challenges because they've got nowhere to hide. Like, you've got a 1 in 6 chance of being the first player out if your tribe loses immunity. I just think the challenge strength is going to be too important, and that's going to cost time.
But okay, you just said the importance of sub. I'm sorry, Dwaine. I'm sorry, but he just said the importance of sub alliances, which is what I'm talking about in this 6-person group. And when you get into the shuffles and the swaps, how often have we seen full tribes end up on the same tribe together? I mean, it just happens, because when I played during Warriors, the first person we were going to vote out was one of the strongest people in our tribe, Bob, because he just didn't talk to us. He didn't fit in with us. He was the first one gone. The first night we were voting out the strongest guy. I'm sorry, Dwaine.
You ask how many times we've seen the whole tribe end up together after a swap. Both the last two of the 3 last times that they've done 3 tribes happened. In Kaôh, the entire Brawn tribe except Sarah was together after the swap, and in Worlds Apart, all the blue collars except Kelly ended up together after the swap.
Right, so it happens. So why not take the chance of going in with an alliance and going in with Nick, somebody I don't get along with? That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Dwaine.
All right. I don't think it's – I think we're assuming – or I'm not, but some of you are assuming that Ty is weak. I don't think he's weak at all. I think he's lean and mean. The guy climbs trees. I mean, it takes some stamina and some muscle to be able to climb trees. Just because he's not bulky doesn't mean that he's not strong. You put Caleb and Ty in a ring together, Ty might be able to bring him down because he'd be quicker and smaller and faster and more limber and all that stuff. I don't think he's particularly a weak link in their tribe.
Yeah,
he might actually be strong.
Whether he's weak or strong, what matters is how his tribe mates perceive him, and at first glance they might think, oh, he's small, he's the weak link. Perception is often more important than reality.
I know, but once they see him in action, they won't think that.
Now, you got to remember, these challenges take up a microcosm of the time that they're out there, for the most part. Caleb could probably push a cart across the beach better than Ty, but they're going to be with Ty 24/7 as he's prepping the camp, as he's cooking for him. I think I'm like Dwaine. Caleb might be stronger in one sense, but I think Ty has the endurance and stamina to stay at that level throughout the 39 days or however long he stays out there. Oh, I like Ty. I don't think he's weak. He's definitely smaller. He's going to visually appear weaker, but I don't think necessarily he's going to be weaker as far as lasting through the game.
Well, that's a good point. I just keep coming back to the conformity issue. He's just the clear odd person out, in my opinion. You look at the tribe, who doesn't fit in? It's naturally going to make it harder for him to gel with the group. But I'd love to be wrong. He's got a great energy, and he's really charming. I think the show would be a lot better if he sticks around longer, so I'd love to be wrong here.
Yeah. Brian, do you have any last things before we go to Brawn?
Well, I like Ty a lot. I feel like he'd be the kind of guy you'd want to make an alliance with, at least for me if I was out there. But I see what you're saying, Alex. I also loved Bryce preseason of Kaôh. He was my favorite player, but he was the one different person on the pretty boring
Yeah, the Beauty Tribe had a real Beauty Tribe had a real outdoor southern bent to it. LJ, Jeffra, Jeremiah. He just couldn't connect with them. And I don't see Ty having much common ground just career-wise with these people either. And, there's the age thing. You're 21 years older.
I don't see these girls as dumb beauties. I'm sorry, Dwaine. I see them as smart, and I think they're going to pick the guy that they want to sit with for the longest amount of time, and it's going to be Ty.
All right, so I want to show y'all Brian's whiteboard behind him. So, Brian, you are on the screen. Besides all of his awesome buffs, it says, About Me. blogger, lover, needs a job, laptop?
Needs a new laptop.
Oh, I was like, okay, you're a blogger and a lover and a laptop? What? Anyway, so he needs a new job and he needs a new laptop.
That's his advertisement.
Oh, no, that says needs a new laptop.
Yeah, it says needs a new laptop. Sorry.
It looks like
I
you got
wanted
a
to
bullet.
fit it in the screen because I wasn't sure.
Well, you look like you have a bullet point beside laptop, so it threw me off. But
Oh, yeah. Just like an indent in the whiteboard.
yeah. So there's Brian. Brian needs a new laptop. If you have one laying around, I'm sure Brian will take it.
Absolutely.
All right.
I could use a new job. Recent
All right.
college grad, just if it's out there.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I am biased already, and before all you other fans out there that think David and I should be, neutral on all players and, sorry, we're just two best friends talking about the show, and I like Kyle Jason a lot, and one of the reasons why I like him is because he's already interacted with me on Twitter, and he's funny. I like the guy.
About the should be neutral thing, I don't think there's a such thing as a Survivor fan who's neutral. You root for and support the players you like the most. Isn't that the fun of the show? You root for whoever you want.
Yeah, but we are podcasters, and some people say we should be a news program, and
We should rip them as much as we like them. So, and I don't care. I like all these people.
Well, where's the
but
fun?
I
of
like
shows-
Kyle Jason a lot. I'm just saying.
Well, where's the fun in watching Survivor if you have to be neutral and you can't really truly root for anyone? Where's the fun in watching the show then?
Well, then there's some
That's
podcasters out there who aren't having any fun.
I gotta say, Kyle Jason, dude's a badass.
I know, man. He's cool.
Yeah, he's definitely a cool guy.
I think Dwaine and I are going to be fighting over picks in this draft in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I like him too. He's
Yeah.
somebody I would easily relate to, somebody I would talk to on the first day, and I like how he plays by the seat of his pants.
Yes.
He goes by what happens next.
I don't plot out plans. I play by the seat of my pants. Yes.
I like
That
that
kind of
too.
guy.
He seems
We
really
all know how
likable.
plans go in Survivor.
Yeah.
He seems really likable, but he's talking about playing a hands-ish game, and I think that is far more likely to blow up in a person's face than it is to actually succeed. I mean, he says he wants to make stuff disappear more quickly than Russell made stuff disappear. I mean, Russell burned people's socks and dumped out their water on night one, so how soon is he going to start stealing stuff?
Okay,
I mean, in the middle of the day?
But Kyle is more funny than Russell, so that's going to help him.
But if the tribe catches him stealing from them, they're still going to vote him off, funny or not. They'll find the joke
Not
so
if he
funny they
makes
have to vote
them
him off.
laugh.
You really think that they'll find it funny if he starts stealing their stuff? He says he wants to make stuff
not.
disappear.
Oh, he's just talking smack.
I
don't
like this
think
quote.
he's really
I think that's a pre-game thing that he's just laying out there. I think he's one of those people that can adjust. And if he sees something going one way, if they win challenges, which I think this tribe will, I
Right.
like this tribe, I think he could just play along and just go as the day goes along. But once you start losing, then you're going to see the side of Kyle.
Well,
Okay, listen
the
to his
winning
quote.
challenges thing.
Hold on. Listen to his quote. Whatever it takes, wherever it takes me, I'm going to go with it and try to manipulate it to my path where I need it to go. The guy has the right mindset for this game. It's not set. I'm going to take every situation and I'm going to make it work so that I go further in the game. All right, go ahead. Talk all you want.
Well, about the winning challenges thing, it was talked about that Brawn wouldn't be losing challenges, but I think that considering that they're by far the strongest team, CBS is going to be doing some not too physical challenges. I mean, this is being built up as a which group is best at the game season. They don't want to see They don't want to see the Brains or the Beauties get annihilated just because they aren't as strong as the Brawns. They're going to have some equalizers in these challenges.
I'm sorry, Kyle Jason, who goes by @SargeJason, just said, "Thanks, I like you guys too." We've already got a Tony Vlachos on our hands here, David. Oh man.
So we've got two people who are imitating and playing like Russell. Is the next step getting Russell himself?
Oh man. Boy, you know, Alex, I love you to death, but you really take this contestant you are most like to heart, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You really do. I mean, it's like, God forbid they mention Russell or poverty.
It's not just that
he doesn't read the rest of the Bible.
If I ever get on to Survivor, I'm just going to say poverty.
it's
Alex,
not.
no, Alex, come on, give us a chance to ride you just a little bit. Alex puts it in Word, does a word search find. If it says Russell or poverty, he doesn't even read the bio. He just puts it in the trash pile.
No, it's not so much that he says player most like Russell. It's that he talks specifically about playing a hand-ish game. He wants to steal stuff. He says, "I'm going to win because I'm the best liar." I don't see how that can not blow up in his face. I mean, whenever someone tries to cause chaos, 90% of the time it backfires horribly. Like just last season, Cass tried to bring chaos at the merge, and she got voted off for it. And in Philippines, you had Pete pitting Abby and RC against each other by putting the idol clue in her bag, and it just tore the tribe apart at the seams. I don't think that the hand strategy is the smartest way to play this game. And I just think he's going to put too much of an emphasis on lying, backstabbing, big moves, and it's going to backfire on him.
The advantage that Russell and Cass had the first time, though, is no one knew them. And then when people knew them, their chaos didn't work so well. No one knows Kyle, this game.
But he
says he wants to pull this chaos off.
But he says he wants to make stuff disappear faster than Russell did. It means he's going to be devious even earlier in the game than Russell did. So if they don't know who he is now, they're going to figure out fast.
But, going out into this game for trying to stay for 39 days, all it would take is one night of bad bowel movements, and it could totally change the mentality of your day, and you could play a totally different person the next day. I mean, anything can happen. There's so much luck involved with Survivor. Winning a challenge, losing a challenge, anything can happen to affect somebody's play. I already had my speech laid out as to who I was like. I had like 7 different names. I would start like this person. I would play like this person. I would hide like this person. I would move like this person, and then I would finish like this person with this speech at the end. But as it turns out, you could also play like this person and just glide all the way through the game until you need a point to strike. I don't put as much weight. This is why I told Dwaine this would probably take about a 60-minute podcast because all we have is a short video and a page of bio. So you can't put day one. I just want to see day one. I want to see how they act, and then I want to see how they act on day 4 after that first challenge or day 3.
Right.
That's when you really start. That's when this podcast should happen. That's when you start seeing people. I just like him because he's so relatable. He's somebody that Dwaine and I would have lunch with, and we'd laugh our heads off because he'd be cracking wise the whole time. I follow him on Facebook. He's constantly putting up funny pictures. He's somebody like Ty that you want to sit and laugh with. I don't really know Scott Pollard. I don't care to talk about the NBA. I want to talk about life. And Kyle's got a lot of. I want to call him Jason. Kyle's got a lot of life to talk about. He's done some crazy stuff.
He says you guys can just call me Jason.
Or we call him Sarge.
He also says I'm the best liar.
Yeah, putting such a huge emphasis on one's ability to lie really early on, I just think he's going to be a little too devious. But I do think he'll be great in confessionals. I think he looks like a really entertaining, cool person. I just don't. That doesn't always translate into being a really effective player.
Are you going to pull out a different rock for Jason, for Kyle? You don't have a rock.
A slightly bigger rock. Well, I'll eat a slightly bigger rock.
You'll eat a bigger rock. You're going to need
the rocks increase in size depending on how unlikely I think it is that a given player will do well. Like, for the player I'm least confident will do poorly, I have the smallest rock. They get bigger and bigger the more confident I am that the player won't do well. But the one thing that really does go in Kyle's favor is that the precedent for Brawn beauty seasons is for a hand-ish player to win, like we saw with Tony. So if we're seeing a repeat of that, he's on the Brawn tribe like Tony. He's going to take an aggressive, duplicitous approach like Tony. So if the precedent holds up, maybe he could win.
In all seriousness, okay. So in all seriousness, when I look at Jason, even though he says the stuff about playing like Russell, I think he's talking about kind of being the devious, kind of being all that kind of fun stuff. He's definitely going to lie, but he's got a Tony personality. Yep. See, so and Russell didn't. Russell didn't like you, and Russell could do with or without you. But
the people that said in exit interviews that Russell was an absolute nightmare to be around. Camp, just a complete jerk.
But see, Tony wasn't like that, and I don't think Jason would be like that. Can you imagine the fun stories you're going to get around the campfire at night about bounty hunting and stuff like that? I mean, this Brawn tribe is going to be the most fun tribe to be on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much fun.
I hear what you're saying about the personality thing, and Tony showed us that if you've got a fun, likable personality, you can play a very ruthless, backstabbing game and win. Tony was a lot more likable than Russell ever was. So maybe Kyle could fit into that same mold. It's not so much the lying that concerns me. It's him saying he's going to make stuff disappear faster than Russell. It's him talking about thievery is what makes me a little worried.
Okay, so I can see Jason and Darnell are kind of. I don't really know if Jason and Scott are going to hit it off. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, I mean, Tony didn't like Cliff, so it stands to reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like Scott might be the odd one out in this one. And
I agree with that. I don't think Scott is going to do well in this game.
Okay, now I'm scared because you agreed with me. You haven't agreed with anything anybody else has said the whole freaking show, and now you agree with me. So I'm thinking I might need to.
No, we all agreed on Aubrey. We agreed on Aubrey.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
No, we didn't agree on Aubrey. I liked Aubrey, but y'all.
Yeah. David liked Aubrey.
I like Aubrey. I still think she's going to do that well.
So anyway, yeah. So I think Scott might be the odd one out, and really maybe even Sydney and Scott be the odd one out. I don't know. But I kind of see Darnell and I think I kind of see Darnell looking at Jason and going, "Hey, I want to hang with him," because Darnell talks about his past and stuff like that, and Jason looks like he's had a past, and he's a bounty hunter, so he probably went after Darnell at one time, so because Darnell says he's been in trouble with the law, that's what he's. All right, no. So maybe they know each other.
We're not talking about Scott anymore. We're not talking about Scott anymore.
We're talking about
talk about whoever you want. I don't care.
I just got confused. I thought we were talking about Scott.
Well, we can talk about Scott, but I had said I thought Scott was going to be on the outs while I was talking about Darnell and Jason.
Yeah, and I said I agreed with you on that, and then we got sort of sidetracked.
Right. Okay, well, Brian, who do you want to talk about?
Let's see. I guess we can talk about Darnell, because I thought that's who we were talking about, so I had his page open.
All right.
Darnell.
All right, Brian, tell us what you think about Darnell, the U.S. postal worker who, by his own words, came out of a rough past and is now doing well.
Yeah, I think it's funny because people online were very curious as to who he was, because before the cast came out, he was the one person people had no idea he was on the cast. Mm-hmm. And his interviews and stuff, he's just a funny, chill guy. I think that's so underrated on Survivor, to just be likable and to just be fun to be around is maybe more important than a lot of the normal things that we think of as important for Survivor.
I would agree with that. I also found myself liking him after watching his video. He seems he just seems like a nice, funny person, and I could see him being in a majority alliance at the start of the game. I don't think there's any reason to target him early on. It did crack me up a little when he said in his bio that one of the 3 things he would bring on the island was sunglasses so I can hide from the ugly contestants. Probably wishes he was on the beauty tribe.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't really get that, but then, I'm 47. So
is his philosophy that people can't see you if you're wearing sunglasses?
I don't know.
Sunglasses, where'd he go?
Yeah. All right.
I like.
David, what do you think about Darnell?
Hateration is my motivation. I love that line that he did. I like that from where he's come from, as he struggled as a kid growing up, like you said, in and out of trouble. He's got street smarts, but he's confident. He's confident in where he's gotten to. He's made something of his life, and that's a lot of life experience. Because he's had to deal with a lot of different types of people. Mm-hmm. It's going to be how he fits in the beginning. I think this tribe is going to do well in the beginning. I think they have a chance to do well anyway. But it's going to be who he aligns with right from the beginning. I think he's going to make friends with everybody, even Scott, especially because he's from Chicago. That's a big basketball town, and Scott's a basketball player. He'll probably know who he is. So I think I like Darnell too. I think he's going to fit in well with almost any type of person that's out there.
I was always hard for Scott just because he won a championship with the Celtics, and I had a vague clue of who he was.
He was
I had to look him up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that guy."
Brian, he was at the end of the bench.
Backup.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I think that Scott's in a good position. My prediction, I think he falls somewhere around the mid-merge game. I think he'll be in a good alliance for most of the season, but I don't think he's subtle enough to keep the target off his back all the way to the end.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me like Scott's a much more serious guy than Darnell and Jason are, right?
And you think Brawn looks like a pretty laid-back tribe?
Well, I'd have to refresh my memory on the girls.
I think Scott's also going to be a little more outgoing than Cliff was, whereas Cliff, according to the edit, seemed to be, sleepwalking through the day. Whereas I think Scott's going to be a little more vocal.
Well, okay, the concern I have for Scott. Oh, sorry, go.
Well, just going back to your question, Alicia and Jennifer, I think, are going to be more like Darnell and Jason in their, like, Jennifer's like a tomboy, and she's always, although so is Sydney. Sydney's like all of her friends that are girls are all, have male qualities. So, yeah, I just kind of feel like Scott's going to be the odd one out on that tribe.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with that. I think I would add the concern for Scott that, he talked about in his video, he's a big guy, and we've seen, big guys like Shamar and tall guys like Australia's Mitchell struggle with getting the calorie intake they need because their bigger bodies just need more food. I think the hunger is going to hit Scott in a way that it won't hit the rest of the players, and he might check out of the game mentally because of that. I'm not saying he'll quit, but I do think he might send out nonverbal signs that he wouldn't fight his fate, and the other players might pick up on that.
Yeah.
I think he's also going to stand out that he's a celebrity and they're not.
Yeah, he said in his bio that he is not going to make any effort to hide his basketball background, and he said that it's a completely level, even playing field. There's no asterisk saying you shouldn't be able to win if you've made money. But the thing is, Survivor has never been a level, even playing field. There's always extenuating circumstances, and I think that Scott is really underestimating that. My prediction, I think he gets to the tribal swap, but falls soon after, around the same area that Cliff fell in the first Brawn Brain Beauty.
Yeah, and I think definitely their potential dominance at challenges will keep him safe until, like you said, Alex, they have to switch up and someone makes a move on him.
Yeah, he's just going to be too obvious a target. And if by some, bizarre twist of fate he does reach the merge, he'll be sent straight to the jury. I just don't think he's got the subtlety or the game savvy that he needs. I'd put him as one of the least likely to win, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading something else. I'm sorry, I got distracted.
So glad you're running this podcast.
We're just talking about how Scott's
David.
screwed.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what about the girls on the tribe? What do y'all think?
I like the girls on the Brawn tribe. Where are we going to start? Which one are we going to start with?
It doesn't matter. Whichever one you have up on your screen.
How about Sydney?
Let's talk about her.
Sydney. Well, one thing that... Wait, sorry. You start.
Well, I was just going to say, because you were still looking for something, and I had a quote here. She said, the women I like are assertive and have masculine qualities. I don't like all that teary, girly stuff. She's definitely not your girly girl. Right?
Yeah, do you think she can connect with the girls on the Beauty Tribe? Do you think that if they had up together after a swap, she could work with the Beauty Tribe girls or not?
No.
Alec, we're off the Beauty Tribe. We're not talking about the 18-year-old Beauty Tribe anymore.
Well, it matters because eventually they're all going to be playing together.
I know.
Right.
I got you.
Well,
I'll tell you,
what kind of scares me about Sydney is her whole, I have Rebecca who comes out whenever I need to do interviews, and I have this other Storm comes out when I'm like, dude, she's whatever the word is.
Bipolar.
Yeah, bipolar.
Multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
See, I love that, but if Storm comes out at camp, she's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has to make sure she's got the right personality for each situation. She gets them mixed up and brings out the wrong one at the wrong time. She could be in trouble.
But for her, I'm as worried for her as I am for Caleb or anybody else that's ripped, that she's going to feel the effects of being in this game long term. I don't know. I just see these ripped bodies out there, and I think about all these people that are like I said, I like Neil because he put on the weight. Tony did the same thing. He put on 30 pounds of peanut butter. And
yeah,
it's smart.
I think Zane did the same thing before Philippines too.
Yeah, I did the same thing for Durham, Brian. I put on about
Me too.
Yeah. David just forgot to take it off when he got back.
So did Dwaine for all the camera work.
Yeah. One thing that has me worried about Sydney is the whole "you aren't eating the food I caught."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
Well, maybe she doesn't want to. Well, she's talking about keeping the food she catches for herself. Maybe she doesn't want to fall into the same trap that Joe fell into, where everyone's like, "Oh, he's providing food for everyone." The whole jury vote for him. He's too likable. We got to get him out. Maybe it's sometimes better not to stand out as the one doing everything for the tribe and to keep your own strength levels up. Maybe there's some merit to that.
Maybe, but that's not how I received it. But maybe that's what she meant.
Well, one thing that sort of caught my attention from her bio is when she said that Tony's the player she's most liked because she described Tony as being loyal. Tony was a lot of things. He was a great player. He's actually one of my 5 favorite players of all time, but he wasn't loyal. He backstabbed pretty much everyone. So it's just surprising to me that she describes herself as being like Tony because he's loyal. And it makes me wonder if she has a different opinion on what constitutes things like loyalty on Survivor, and if that could lead to her and some of the other players disagreeing about strategies and how to proceed in the game.
Well, it may have to come down to whether it's Rebecca's definition of loyal or Storm's definition of loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just describing...
Or whatever personalities she didn't tell us about.
Yeah. It's just surprising describing Tony as loyal just because he backstabbed everyone.
Oh, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not loyal.
No.
Yeah, I know. He's a great strategist and probably the best character ever. And again, one of my 5 favorite players, but he was not loyal. And it's just, I think that makes me think if she might have not only a different definition of loyalty, but just a different perspective overall about the game than most of the other players do. And that could prove to be really interesting if it's some brand new way to play the game. I did remember really liking her when I was watching her Meet the Cast video. I think she could be good in confessionals.
Yep. All right, so let's look at Alicia. I like Alicia. She's an adrenaline junkie. There's almost nothing I won't do, she said. She's a huge tomboy. She, let's see, social person, free spirit. She did say she won't get along with people who always think they're right, which could be a problem. But
if she ends up on trial with Nick or Caleb, right?
Right, and she also says, I'm a doer, I make big moves, and you're not going to hurt my feelings. That's important, so she can take the emotion out of the game, you know? So, although she did say she was confrontational, and my concern is if you are a naturally confrontational person, like David says all the time, let's see how you do after 20 days and you're tired and you're emotionally spent. Can you keep a rein on that tongue or not? So
I don't think that you can. I think that when they're exhausted, they just don't have the energy to lock down a part of their personality or keep up a false persona. So I think people become who they truly are out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're stripped down to who they really are. It does always make me roll my eyes a little, just because she said in her bio that her pet peeve is liars, and that makes you wonder, does she know what she's signing up for out there? It always makes me roll my eyes when a player says the pet peeve is liars. Yeah. You're going on Survivor. Everyone's lying.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Yeah. How about you, Brian? What do you think about Alicia?
Well, like Bolton said, she's really pretty, so that's good. She's lived a lot of life. She's let's see, gone bungee jumping in Indonesia, heading in Rio. She went to Las Vegas. She's been a lot of places. Kind of seems like a humble bragger. Like
she also said,
look at all the places I could go.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of different states myself.
Yeah, exactly. But no, she's probably do pretty well.
What do you think, David?
She just jumped off the page to me.
Oh, sorry, Brian. What? What, Brian?
Oh, I just said she just didn't jump off the page.
Oh, okay.
Through the series.
Right. I would agree with that. There was nothing about her that screamed winner or this player's going to do really well. She was one of them who didn't make much of an impression on me, except the talk about being she said she'd be opinionated and confrontational, which aren't helpful traits in the game. She compares herself to Cass because she brought chaos, and like I said before, bringing chaos isn't usually the best approach. There's a couple negatives that I felt were kind of noteworthy. Just the chaos strategy, it's generally not the right way to go.
Yeah. All right, how about you, David?
I didn't remember this from last week, but for all that we've just talked about that she's done, she's only 23. For some reason, I thought she was older than that. Yeah.
She looks a little older than that.
How did she go all these places when she was so young?
Well, like Dwaine said last week, money. you have the money, you can go anywhere you want to.
She
Well,
doesn't
this is
need a new
interesting.
laptop, Brian. She doesn't
That's
need a
true.
new laptop.
That's right. She owns all the laptops.
Yeah.
So,
Her being 23 but looking
Alicia.
well, her being 23 and looking a lot. Her being 23 and looking a lot older than she is, like around. Did we all think she was like 25, 26 range?
well,
Is that-
listening to her bio, I thought she was late 20s at least.
Yeah, she's 23, but she looks older than she is, which means she could be in an interesting position of being able to sort of bridge an age gap between different groups of players. Just because age has always been the biggest dividing factor, but she looks younger, but she's a little older. It just puts her in a sort of interesting position as something of a bridge.
So the flag that went up for me was the adrenaline junkie, fearless, a doer, and to me that's going to run out of juice at some point. And I wonder, that just the fact that she's an adrenaline junkie, she likes doing exciting things, she doesn't get along with bossy people, and I wonder how endurance-wise she's going to keep up.
Okay,
I hear you there. I could see her overexerting herself in a challenge and just depleting her energy reserves. You don't sprint at the start of a marathon.
David, as you said that, my initial thought about the whole adrenaline junkie was I liked it, but when she's sitting around a tribe for 20 hours a day doing nothing.
Yep.
What's that going to do to her? Because
she's going to fish too much. Yeah.
Right. She thrives on the adrenaline, so that's going to be tough.
I could see her getting bored if she just runs out of survivorish things to do.
Right. Exactly.
And like y'all said, she didn't jump off the page, and the reason she didn't jump off the page for me was because I had her right next to Jennifer, who's one of my favorite people to talk about.
Well, she says that she's the adrenaline junkie, so maybe she didn't jump off page because she's just saving all her energy and adrenaline for like the start of the game, but she's just going to explode on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, you just don't like her because she's too close to 18. So let's go on to Jennifer.
Yeah.
No. I actually kind of like her. With if it's something else I wanted to mention, her talking about the adrenaline junkie and us talking about how she might be bored if she runs out of survivors things to do. That I think she might be the sort of person who just sort of tears the beach up looking for that hidden immunity idol.
Well, yeah, because she's bored, had nothing better to do. She's going to be like, I can't sit on my butt all day.
Okay, all the trees are cut down. I've got all the palm fronds right here. There's no more fish in the ocean, so I'm going to go look for that idol somewhere.
I built 3 extra shelters out there. There's a spa. There's a jacuzzi in that one.
Hey, production comes up and says, we hid an idol in a tree, but Alicia's burned all the trees, so I don't think you're going to find the idol.
Speaking of hidden idols, there's something else interesting I want to talk about. You know how the last 2 seasons we've seen the vote doubler twist? First Dan got it and then Stephen Fishback. Both times the person got it, they were targeted and eliminated because it made them too much of a threat. And that makes me wonder, if CBS does use the vote doubler again, they want it to actually be played effectively. It's why they put it in the game. Do you think they would hide it like they hide hidden immunity idols just because so when it's given to you publicly you don't have a huge target on your back?
I would hope so.
That would be interesting, like hidden immunity idols and vote doublers just buried somewhere around camp. Yeah. But I think that if they are going to use the vote doubler, they have to stop giving it away publicly to the players. It just puts too big of a target on the persons.
I agree. Yeah.
But
all right, let's talk about Jennifer. Sorry, Alex, man, we got to get to Jennifer.
Yeah, or else the show's going to come on. So we got to.
Yeah.
David's busting at the seams. I'm a little concerned about Jennifer, David. So go ahead and tell why you like her so much.
I like her because I think she's an all-around good person to play the game of Survivor. I like that she's been through a lot, but she's recovered a lot. She's come a long way. I understand that not like being wet while you're sleeping, but when you get wet while you're sleeping, you think about $1 million, and then you don't think about being wet while you're sleeping anymore.
Well, you do. She may not.
Well, I like that she's outspoken, but she's also good at what she does. She's a tomboy. She's comfortable around men. I think she's going to get along with lots of different people. She's not a drama queen. She can be a bad A or a princess. I don't know. She's just one of those people that to me, she has the tools to do well in this game.
I think she's going to butt heads with people.
I think she's going to connect pretty well with the other Brawns. The thing she says about being tough and a tomboy, it sort of reflects what a lot of other of the Brawn members said in their videos. So I don't see any reason why she should be the first player out, particularly when you've got a more tempting target like Scott to get rid of first. I think that she strikes me as the sort of aggressive player who hit the ground running. I don't think she's going to sit passively back and wait for an alliance to come to her. But at the same time, I don't see her having the subtlety she needs to get into a winning position. I think somewhere around early to mid-jury, that's what I would predict for her.
Yeah. But see, I don't see her. She might hit the ground running, but I don't see her going off looking for an idol by herself. And I also don't see her waiting for an alliance to come to her. I could see her subtly forming one. I don't know. I think she's one of those smart people that can succeed, but can see different ways of dealing with people. I don't know. The vibe I got from her was that she was going to be a good player. She has the tools to be a good player.
Okay, but David,
I think I'll be rooting for her.
Okay, David, what do you do about this quote then? All right,
okay.
I'm an outspoken female. I have really good ideas, and I'm really good at what I do. That's a butt head with other people with good ideas.
She's sure not lacking confidence.
My idea is the best idea, and I'm outspoken, and I just think she's going to butt heads with people.
But I think from her life experience, I think she's one of those people that can, maybe I'm being optimistic because I just got a good vibe from her, but I think she's one of those people that on day one on the beach, when people start talking loud, she sees this and adjusts and doesn't step into that place. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just making up a good
doubt in your
story.
mind, David.
I'm just making up a good story.
I would agree with what David said about her being smart enough to stay out of the way a bit. I think she's not. She doesn't strike me as the type of person who's got a big ego who just wants to prove something to herself, like I can run this thing. I think she's smart enough to know that there's a time to take charge and a time to let others take charge.
Well, so what do you think, Laptop Kid?
Well, I think just reading her bio, the stuff that she's been through, Survivor is not going to be the hardest thing that she's ever done in her life. So she should be fine. Like, yeah, she's not going to like getting rained on, but I'm sure she'll be able to pull some former life experience and be like, all right, well, I had all this other stuff happen to me. So, I think she'll be fine. And I think when you meet someone who's been through all this stuff, you do kind of gravitate toward them more because they've lived a interesting life and they've been through stuff, and you can learn a lot from them.
Right.
If she gets wet while they're sleeping, then that virtual shelter is not being built correctly. She needs to get that. She's a virtual construction company person. She needs to get that working.
Yeah. All right, so there you have Brain, Brawn, and Beauty, and we want to know what your thoughts are on them. So be sure to send us your feedback on the tribes and the people in them to feedback@survivortalkwithdnd.com or go to our feedback page, stwdd.com/feedback. Before we close out the show,
you write them. We read them. iTunes reviews.
That's right. We have one new iTunes review this week. It's from Cody Bear 665. He gave us 5 stars and titled the review "Must Subscribe." And then he wrote, "These guys are witty, raw, and entertaining." I'm not sure how we're raw.
I don't know about raw, but
the other two were compliments.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. Right now he's listening to another podcast going, why aren't they reading my review?
Yeah. Wow. What happened to D&D?
Yeah.
He obviously didn't watch Eddie Murphy Raw as in the 80s. No. Anyway, they provide a fresh perspective on the amazing show of Survivor, and I can't wait to follow them throughout the season. Thank you, Cody Bear 655. Thank you. You can leave us your own review by going to our website, scrolling down, and clicking on our logo, and that's iTunes Reviews.
We read them. iTunes Reviews.
Before I give our guest one final word, let me just remind you we did a movie talk with D&D about Star Wars, if you haven't seen that. Also, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, 2 movies recently that were just released. If you have not seen The Revenant, I know it's rated R. Maybe you don't like to go see rated R movies, but The Revenant is a kickin' movie, and it's rated R for violence. So, great movie.
Yeah.
It is definitely rated R for violence. But anyway, so and also thank you for shopping Amazon, and thank you for listening to our show. And also a huge thank you to our D&D patrons. If you're not one, become one. Be part of the family. All right, so let's give Alex first dibs on final thoughts. Alex, go.
I think that this looks like a pretty good cast. After everything you guys said about Kyle, I'm going to take another look at his Meet the Cast video and bio, maybe with a more open mind. You all seemed to really like his chances, so maybe there was something big that I overlooked. my prediction for first out of the game, episode 1, I still think it's going to be Debbie. I think that and yes, my offer about eating that rock if Julia ends up being a good player still stands. I meant it.
So you think Brawn loses and Debbie goes home?
Yep, I think that they're not going to want a repeat of what happened to Luzon, and that means that the older woman on the tribe is going to go home first.
All right. Anything else? You want everybody to read your blog this season, right?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be blogging every single episode this season. It might be every other episode or maybe every few episodes. I just don't know if I have the time anymore. But if the season turns out to be really good, then yeah, I might do every episode, but it's not a guarantee. But I will definitely be writing for some of the episodes this season.
By the way, great looking shirt you have on tonight.
Thanks.
Nice Survivor.
Yeah, I thought I should wear the team colors.
That's right. Nice Survivor Talk with D&D shirt. All right, Brian, final words, buddy.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast. And I cannot wait for this season. I mean, like you guys, I just love Survivor. And are we going to do a first boot? Is that just something Alex did? If we are an official first boot, I got to go with Nick. Get out of here. And Survivor, put Andy on next season.
That's right.
So you can have a good blogger.
I think you're all way underestimating Nick.
You had your turn, Alex. Be quiet. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, no, that's...
Oh, no, is that it?
Yeah, I mean... Oh, wait, no.
Do you want to defer back to Alex? I mean...
read my blog on the website, Musings from Mars. Right. I will be writing every week. I'm very excited to get back to that, and I should have a preseason blog coming up very shortly.
Awesome. Now, please explain to everyone who sees your name spelled Meagher why you pronounce it Mars.
Well, the short answer is I don't know. And the long answer is I really have no idea. But it's just, I don't know, it's just an Irish name, and my family is very Irish, and it's just pronounced like that. When I do, like, stand-up or, like, when I have to, like, do something where someone's reading it, I just write it M-A-R or M-A-R-R.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, because no one's ever going to get it.
Right.
And so, you know, it's just pronounced Mar, and when we were trying to come up with the title for the blog, I think you suggested Musings from Mars or something. I was like, yes, that's good. I don't know. I have nothing.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I love it.
But yeah, so that is the weirdness of my name. It's been like something that's followed me my whole life. It's just awful.
Yeah. Well, you could always take on the name of your wife if you want to get rid of it. But
that's true.
But I like it. Well, I like it because, like, mine's unique, D-W-A-I-N-E. There aren't too many spelled like that, so that's always been something I've been proud of. So because I had everything to do with that, right, David?
Exactly.
So I should be proud of that. All right, David, do you have any final words, buddy?
Just thank you guys for coming on. It's nice to have people that really know something about Survivor come on our show and talk about stuff that can name names from different episodes and different seasons. Can't wait to read your blogs. If Alex's blog dwindles down to nothing, it's because Julia's winning. We'll know that.
And because Dick got voted off soon.
That's right. And Brian, I look forward to seeing you in June when we come up north and see you up there. And I'm not going to give any picks because I'm not going to give away my draft picks. My team will be preparing to draft theirs. Nope, not going to happen. I'm not giving you squat. So
it ain't giving me nothing. But
I think we agree on a lot of things already. So we usually do. But no, I'm looking forward to the season. The more I read these people, and Steve Helling told us this earlier. He said the more he looks at these people on paper, the more he likes them. And I like this cast. I think it's strong, and I hope they all just fight and do really well.
Yeah, I agree. The more I look at them, the more I like them. The more I read about them, the more I watch them, the more I like them. I'm looking forward to reading Gordon Holmes' interviews with them and Dalton Ross's interviews with them. It's going to be really good, and I'm really looking forward to the show.
Speaking of which, can I just say real quick that I have got confirmation that Colton and I, when we do our ranking blog.
What, y'all have a bad word for the name of it?
We're going to be doing our ranking semi-blog thing. We are going to be using the official Gordon Holmes scoring system.
Oh, did Gordon give you permission?
He said go for it. So,
awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Gordon Holm.
So we'll be using that to keep score for our little blog battle.
So all you Gordon Holm fans, it's okay. Gave us permission.
That's right. Got his blessing.
That's right.
Oh, man.
All right, so absolutely looking for what was I saying before David interrupted me? I just don't even remember.
That you
Something
also
about Survivor.
Yeah, something about it. Anyway, I am looking forward to it. Looking forward to next week to reading feedback again and hearing all of your thoughts. Looking forward to the next week whenever we get to do our draft for this D&D Survivor Challenge.
That's right.
And remember, that's David and I are doing our draft against each other, but our Facebook group also has a draft, and you can pick any 9 players you want. You don't have to draft. You just pick your team and give it a name. But if you want to have fun, like Brian and Alex could play against each other and have their own little draft and pick their players. So the disadvantage is that David has 2 people now helping him. So it's David, Kelly, and Colton. Kelly and Colton are like chomping at the bit to draft. They can't wait. I've got Dan Foley who said, "What? I got to do research on this thing?"
Are there videos out?
Yeah. He's like, "What? What? There's a new season of Survivor coming?" So I might get a little help from someone. I haven't decided yet, but anyway. So there you go. Big news. We told y'all a couple of weeks ago, but it's still in the works. As you know, Varner did our intros.
I'm a survivor.
Yes, he did our intros, but he's also going to be on our premiere recap on Thursday night, February 18th, and
That's
that
going to be great.
is going to be awesome.
Varner gave the best confessionals.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. So thank you for watching, everybody. Check out our website, stwdd.com. Shop Amazon, become a D&D patron, all that good stuff. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Brian, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Your stuff. All right. See you later, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.